I got all of this for $125. Shop with me as we explore some of my favorite stores. Hey everybody, and welcome to Autumn Leigh at Home. I'm Autumn Leigh if you're new. Today we are going to do a shopping day where you can come along with me and kind of just go about the different stores that we need to go. I need to consign some stuff at Once Upon a Child, so I will show you and talk to you about like what that looks like, as well as I might run by Sam's Club to eat some lunch, maybe grab a few things, and I need to go to Hobby Lobby. And this time of year, Hobby Lobby is crazy, but I need another strand of lights. So I'm really hoping, we bought all new lights this year, and I'm really hoping they have some so we can check out their aisles, see what is on sale now, see what their sales are right now, and how crazy it is. And then after that, I want to show you our grocery haul. We are going to stop at Aldi, which is my normal typical stop for one day a week. I usually pick one day and do a whole week's worth menu of grocery shopping, and I try to keep it around $150. But come along with me and we'll go ahead and get started. Everybody, so I just got finished with this store. This is Once Upon a Child. It's a consignment sales store, so you can take stuff in, whether it's games, books, clothes, that sort of thing, and sell it to them. As well as when you sell, you earn points to then be able to get like $5 off, 30% off, $10 off, depending on how many points you rack up. So every time you buy from them, every time you sell to them, you actually can earn points. And then on Tuesday, you also can get that blue bag that you saw, the little tote bag. You can get one of those. It is a purchase, but once you purchase it, you can bring it every Tuesday, and whatever you can fit in the bag, you get another 20, sometimes 30% off as well. So if you are a frequent flyer of this place, it actually can do really well for you in the fact that when you're selling items, you're getting money, and you can either exchange or receive cash for that money, depending on like if you want store credit or if you want to receive cash. This is one of the places that I frequent. We have other huge consignment sales in our area, and I love attending those, but the effort that I have to put in to sell stuff at those items, I would have to buy like the equipment for it, and it's not worth it to me to sit down and have to like label every item and that kind of thing. So this is, you just show up. I usually bring one, maybe two bins at a time, because I find, and I have found, that they actually purchase a lot more from me if I do it that way. Whereas instead of bringing like 6 bins in after a huge closet clean out, it's easy for them to get overwhelmed with all of those bins and going through them all at one time, and they end up not purchasing as many items. So if I just bring one or maybe 2 bins in at a time, you end up earning a lot more money that way. So today I brought a bin of books and games that I had decluttered from my house, and those videos I will put down in the description, a link for that playlist, the Declutter With Me playlist. It was an entire series that we did multiple rooms in the house, and I had a whole bin of books and games that I needed to consign, and they actually purchased a lot more than I thought they would. I ended up getting over $20 worth back from them that I then applied to other clothes, and I can show you what I purchased. But my daughter needed some Christmas pajamas for a party this weekend, and my son needed a coat, all the things. So I ended up getting to purchase those. I shopped while they went through my bin, and once I got to the counter, once I got a text saying it was ready, I went to the counter, I got my items that they didn't want from. Usually it's due to either maybe some pieces missing that I didn't realize were missing, or that it's just not in season, or they already have plenty of it, they don't need to purchase anymore for the store, whatever it may be. There's reasons for it, and so they give you those items back, and then they'll show you the items that they're buying and purchasing, and you can exchange or they can pay you. So today I chose to exchange, and my cost actually almost was perfectly even. So I ended up spending, I think it was like $20 in there, but they owed me $21 and some change. So I ended up, they paid me $1 something for bringing out some new clothes for my kids and a coat and that sort of thing. So it worked out really well today. It doesn't always work out that great. Sometimes you get $8. Sometimes I've gotten up to $50 for one bin. Now it all depends on if it's, whether it's name brand, that sort of thing, good condition, smells. I usually try to put my best foot forward when I bring them in. I lay them all nice and neat. I match the outfits, I organize it, and then it's easy for them to go through it. And again, they're more likely to purchase things from that. So it worked out really well today. So that was my first stop. Next, with the timing of it, I think I'm going to run by Sam's Club, grab a couple of things. Like we ran out of bacon and, what was the other thing? Some chips. I just like buying chips there because they're cheaper. And I'm just going to grab some lunch there. Y'all, I'm going to be honest. I didn't film a whole lot in that last store just because they could see me the whole time. It was really quiet in there and I just didn't want to be rude or that person. So I didn't film a whole lot in that store, but it was pretty basic. It's your pretty basic consignment sale. They had a ton of Christmas stuff on one aisle, and then the rest were like, there's a ton of coats. They have a snow boots drop, I think, coming this weekend or tomorrow, but we just made it to Sam's Club. So that is our next stop. I'm gonna eat first and then I'll grab the couple items that I wanted to grab. It's a little dreary out. I was hoping for snow, but we got rain instead. That's okay because we're still getting our chores done or our errands done, and we just made it to Sam's, so I'm hungry. To make for a happy hubby, I wanted to pick up some bacon while I was here. And so I went ahead and grabbed bacon and then chips. They're just so much cheaper here. I'm already here. I also don't eat out very often, so I like me a good Sam's Club pizza, slice of pizza. We don't eat out. I cook from scratch a lot. And so this is a way for me to kind of get to eat out, and it's way cheaper. For the pizza and the soda, it's like $2 something, and I can just sit and enjoy it and go about my day. So it gives me the chance to kind of feel like I'm eating out, but not spending a whole lot of money. And it just makes me feel better to not have to spend a lot of money eating out, especially when it's just me. So I went ahead and grabbed there. We're done with Sam's Club. Now I do need to stop for gas, and Sam's Club is the best way to do it because gas was only, I think it's $2.46. Yeah, $2.46 per gallon. And at our local QT, it's like $2.89. So I'm saving almost 40 cents per gallon, which can't beat that anywhere. And we're already here, so we're gonna go ahead and grab it. I also wanna point out that I bought 2 items, bacon and the, oh my gosh, my mind went blank, bacon and the chips. And that was $18 and something cents together combined. But because we had Sam's Cash, I went ahead and applied that, and I had over $11 in Sam's Cash. It was almost $12. And when I applied that, I only owed $6 and some change. So I walked out of Sam's Club with bacon, a whole huge thing of 72 slices of bacon, as well as a big bag of chips for only $6 and something, which again, you can't beat. So I'm really excited about that. We're heading to Hobby Lobby after I get gas. Hobby Lobby is like the playground for adult women. We have a hard time going in, not just coming out with the one item that we maybe need. So today I'm going to try to stay focused. There's a reason I don't come in Hobby Lobby very often. That and Marshall's. I love both stores. Both stores have reasonably priced items, especially when they go on sale. Hobby Lobby is a problem. So I don't ever go in there because I always come out with more than I need to. So we are going to try to window shop and only get the one item that I need. We will see. Okay, so I stuck to one item. I was very proud of myself. It was very tempting to look around in the store, but I need to get to Aldi and we need to go shopping for groceries. So that's where we're heading next. And I have a feeling this week's going to be a little bit different. I typically like to stay within about $150 budget, but because we have run out of meat, or I think we're down to like our last little bit of meat in our freezer, I'm gonna have to buy some meat. So we'll see if I can stick to that budget. If not, we will try our best to do as close as we can to $150. Y'all, I totally only spent $106. That is crazy. I'm so excited about that because I totally thought I was going to be going over budget this week just because I knew I was going to have to buy some meat and trying to get my buckle. I knew I was going to have to buy some meat, and so I wanted to do my best not to go over budget. And you know, crazy enough, I bought all the things I typically buy. I didn't do anything different other than crucial step in saving money is shopping your pantry first. A lot of times we save a lot of money by doing it that way because I can see what I already have, meal plan around that, and not buy duplicates of items from the grocery store. So I'm not only utilizing what we already have in our pantry so it doesn't go bad, but I'm also not wasting money by getting home and being like, oh man, I already had, you know, a pack of meat in the freezer, or I already had those onions, I didn't need to buy more, whatever it may be. That helps you save a lot of money. At least it does for us. That's one of the ways that we save money. Another way that it allows me to save money is I'm able to meal plan based off of what we have in the pantry, and I make a list. I'm very specific about my list. I go in, get the items on my list because I've gone through and seen what I need, what I already have, and I can just check it off as I go. Sometimes I will get in here and realize, obviously we all do this, that you end up needing something that you didn't put on your list, whether it's a breakfast item and you're like, oh yeah, we were running low on that, I need to grab it. So like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, for example, a lot of times I buy that on our Sam's Club trip, but that's one of those items that we just go through pretty quick and I don't want to buy more, but it allows me to go ahead and grab what we need from the list, and I try not to veer off it too much. So we were able to get everything I needed. I only spent $106 for our budget this week. That again is pretty typical. Sometimes I try to skip a week each month to kind of balance out our Sam's Club trip that we do every 2 to 3 months. And we just eat things from our pantry. Like we'll do grilled cheese quesadillas or grilled cheese sandwiches or sandwiches. It ends up being a lighter week. We have leftovers from the previous week we need to eat up, or we do very simple meals and make meals based off of things we already have in the freezer. Other ways that I do that is when I make a meal, sometimes I end up doing a dinner plus one. And when I make like meatloaf, I made last week, I ended up making a lot. So we ate half of it and then I froze the other half. And that's a whole nother meal that I could pull out. And that's on one of those weeks that we're skipping the grocery store and use up vegetables that I already have in my drawer that maybe didn't get used up for whatever reason. And I'm able to do it that way. I do try to grab one item that's not on my list, or like my meal plan, that's kind of our version of fast food. So like this week I grabbed a bag of chicken nuggets, and that way sometimes the inevitable happens. Things happen with a family of 6, 4 kids. They all have after school curricular activities, friends' houses, you know, all the things. And we end up having a night where I maybe planned a meal, but that meal is just not going to work out time-wise. Everybody's hungry. And instead of going through a drive-through fast food drive-through window, I'm able to pull that from the freezer. That's kind of like my plan B backup meal that I know I have in the fridge, and it prevents that, or it keeps us from having to spend extra money going through a drive-through, because even going through Taco Bell with my family is around $70. That's not cheap. That's more of like a sit-down meal restaurant that I feel like I'm taking away from my kids, because we only eat out as a family usually once a month. Sometimes it's usually within budget to do it once, maybe sometimes twice a month if we plan it right and do like a kids eat free night. But I don't want to waste that just because we're in a hurry. So it's more of like I'm dating my family when we do it that way, and it's planned versus eating it because out of convenience. So I try to keep like one convenience meal that's our fast food in the freezer or at the house that's our backup go-to plan. And that usually stays within our budget as well. So let me get home. I will show you everything that we got. I just got everything unloaded and look at all of this that I got for only $125. That is fantastic. So I'm gonna go through and just kind of quickly go over everything that we got with the multiple stops and where I got it. So the first one was our, where did I go first? I don't know. I'll just go in the order of what I have on here on the counter. So these are from Hobby Lobby, and this is the lights that I was really good about not coming out with more than I needed. So I went in, had a mission of only to get lights. I did end up getting 2 just because I really didn't want to have to make another trip out there if, say, one strand messed up or whatever it may be. So I got 2 boxes of that, and that was actually one of my more expensive purchases for almost $10. It was like $9 and I think like 81 cents, something like that. And we got 2. They were 25% off, which was great. And then another stop was the Once Upon a Child trip. And these were fantastic. Let me tell you why. This coat right here originally was $10. And look how nice it is. It's a very thick coat, which we are having a lot of cold spells lately, and my son's coat just isn't cutting it anymore. I think it's too small and he just needs a new one. So I was able to find this one. Zipper works, everything's great, no stains, no tears, nothing like that. It was $10, and some of the other items like the shirts and the dresses were maybe like $4 each originally. So I sold items and I got $20 for a bin of books and games. Whatever I didn't sell, I will end up taking to Goodwill on a different out day. I think I'm going to try to take another bin to Once Upon a Child next week, and then I will go ahead and take all of that to Goodwill at the same time. So with that being said, I was able to buy a shirt, coat. Here's the shirt, and it's really cute. That's the back of it actually. Here's the front. It has this little gathering section in the front. The sleeves are just kind of puffy and cute and gathered at the sleeve. Really cute for only $4. This one is kind of more of the, I forgot what they're called, but not a jumpsuit. I don't really remember what it's called, but it's really cute. It has the long legs, also for my daughter. Both of those I think were originally like $4 or $5. I got a Christmas pajama set that is just for Christmas. She has a Christmas party she's going to this weekend, and I bought this to see if she wants it as an option. If she doesn't like it, I may end up taking it back, but I wanted to give her at least an option of something new that she could wear to the Christmas party. She could even wear the pants and put one of her red sweaters with it or something like that. And then I also found her, she doesn't have a lot of like Christmas clothes, so I also have a younger daughter, so even if I buy it this year kind of close to Christmas and she only gets 1 or 2 uses out of it, my younger daughter will also get to wear it. So really cute. And this was originally, let me see, $6.50, originally $6.50. Now I sold, again, a bin of books and games to Consign at the store, and they bought a lot more than I thought they would from our huge declutter day, which was great. So I was able to get $20 from them. I applied that $20 because I also had a 20% off Tote Tuesday, or I could have used a $10 off my total purchase. So with all of these clothes, I think it was originally like $31 and some change, but because I used my $10 off after racking up points for selling and buying from them, I was able to get $10 off. Once you rack up like 30 points, or 20 points is $5 off, 30 points is $10 off. So I saved up and did the $10 off, which brought it down to $21 for all of this. And then on top of that, because I sold, I had the $20, and I ended up buying all of this with them owing me $1 and some change. So I walked out of the store with them actually owing me $1 after all of that, which was great. And I didn't even, I don't think oh, you know what? That total was wrong then. So I actually only spent $123 or something like that, because they owed me $1.60, which is crazy. So I need to readjust the math. But so actually all of this right here was only $123 and some change. I'll look at the math in a minute, but that's fantastic. So those are the clothes that we got. Now, before I get started on my grocery haul from Aldi, I did have a Sam's haul. I'll do that one really quick because it's just the chips and the bacon, which again, I used Sam's Cash for $11 and I ended up coming out, I think this was total 18 something and I did the math earlier, but I came out only paying like $6 and something for both of those, which again, fantastic. That was awesome. And then on top of that, before I do discuss the grocery haul, I kind of want to give the caveat of the fact that my kids eat breakfast and lunch at school. Now it's free. I don't have to pay for it and they don't mind because it gives them a chance to kind of sit with their friends, chat, all of that. And we do occasionally, if they want to take a lunch, I let them occasionally take their lunch. And same thing with breakfast. I will make a hot breakfast usually about once a week and it's pancakes, eggs and bacon, you know, whatever it is. And some of the snacks, you will notice a big thing here is I don't buy snacky foods that are pre-made, very little snacky foods. We're not against them. It's just the cost of them adds a huge dent to our budget. And then on top of that, they're not really healthy. So it's one of those like, I'm not against them. We are totally fine buying them, but we use them more as like a treat for a special snack here and there rather than like our daily snack that we go for. But with that all being said, breakfast and lunch at school for all of my kids is free. And I definitely utilize that because it majorly helps our budget. And with that, I am just buying meals for dinners. And usually one night they eat at church, another night our family member makes dinner for us, which is very kind of her. So I'm usually only having to make about 5 dinners and the lunches on the weekends. So all of this is for that and for snacks. I utilize what I can. If it's free, why not? It's probably healthier than a sweet sugary cereal that they would have eaten breakfast here at home rather than eggs and bacon that they're serving at the school. So I would much rather them get a hearty breakfast than a quick fix from me. So all of that, we're gonna go ahead and go over, and I will try to kind of go through my meals too that I planned for this week. Yesterday was noodles and or leftovers from Thanksgiving. I think most of us ate leftovers from Thanksgiving. Tonight are pizza sliders. Main reason being that I usually do ham and cheese leftover sliders. I used the leftover ham from Thanksgiving to make sliders and we ended up enjoying all of the ham yesterday. So I'm actually gonna make pizza sliders tonight and I already had all of those ingredients except for I ended up buying some extra mozzarella because one of our other meals for this week is going to be lasagna, but a very simple homemade lasagna rather than buying a pre-made one from the store. I bought mozzarella, ricotta cheese, and Italian sausage, and then I'm also gonna mix in some ground beef in there as well. So utilizing all of those, I'm gonna make some. We have the noodles already. I checked my pantry. I had leftover noodles from the last time I made homemade lasagna and we have plenty to make another one. So it made sense to do that because I only had to get a few ingredients. The next night is church night, so we eat at church. And Thursdays, our family member cooks for us, which is very kind. We get to enjoy that with her. And then Friday, what did I choose for Friday? Hold on. Friday, I decided to do a Fiesta Taco Rice Bowl. And to do that, I got rice, and this is a 1-pan dish that I am going to try. It's kind of new, but it's very simple. I already had onions. I did have to buy peppers. And so on Sunday, we are doing taco smash burgers as well. So it's a little different, kind of similar, but not really totally the same. Different ingredients, different flavors, different seasonings, that sort of thing. But I also got cilantro and I think that's it. The tomatoes, most of that, but it's 1 pan and I did get the tortilla chips for that as well. We're running low on these and I meant to get them from Sam's Club. Totally forgot I needed them. So I just got a bag from Aldi, even though they were more expensive there. It still tastes great. I know we like that brand too, so it works out well. But I'm just gonna go down the line because I think I'm jumping all over the place. I got multiple cheeses. The Colby Jack cheese is also for the Fiesta Fiesta Taco Bowl that we're doing. One of our kids' favorite snack foods is yogurt, and they like to put granola in it as well as sometimes chocolate chips or one or the other or both together. So we have recently been buying granola. I am gonna actually start trying to make it. I have the ingredients to do it. I'm just waiting for the ones that we bought to be used up. But until then, we bought multiple versions of yogurt because that's one of their favorite. It's healthy, it has high protein, which one of my kids really needs a lot of protein. Actually, a couple of us do. But these are more of specialty yogurts. I don't buy a ton of these. I usually buy like anywhere from 2 to 4. That way each kid can occasionally get one, or my husband. And those, because they're a little bit more expensive, but again, I'd rather them have that than a pre-made other snacky food. So most of the time they go for these cups that are like the yogurt cups or Greek yogurt here. One of my kids requested this one, this brand. So I got that. And then I also keep a big thing of vanilla yogurt, but we still have some, so I didn't get that one, of Greek non-fat. That is one thing that I'm trying to do better at, is if they have like a part skim, low fat, reduced fat, whatever option of the item I'm looking for, I'm starting to try to reach for that. So same thing with the cottage cheese. I did cottage cheese, low fat, and ricotta skim milk version. But this is for our lasagna. And then the cottage cheese right here. One other of our meals is that I am making homemade quiche, which I am using tortillas, which are low carb tortillas. Let me show you these. Or zero carb, these tortillas. And then I scramble eggs, blend in cottage cheese, not ricotta, but cottage cheese, and spinach right here. I blend in the spinach and whatever else you could do it, whatever flavor you want. Salt, pepper. We usually add cheese. You can do tomatoes, onions. Normally I just do bacon bits, spinach, cottage cheese. Once you blend this in with the eggs, can't tell it's there at all. And then I put it, again, one pan dish, put it in a cast iron skillet with these on the bottom. I do put a little bit of butter in the bottom to make these nice golden brown and crunchy, which makes the flavor really good. And we make homemade quiche. Kids love it. I don't know what it is about it, but they love it. So I keep making it because, again, it's filled with protein and healthy, and it's a really easy, simple meal. Saturday is quiche and lasagna. Quiche is for lunch, lasagna is for dinner. I can make my homemade garlic bread with whatever cheese is left over from the week. And we usually melt some butter, put garlic salt in it with Italian seasoning, all of that, and it tastes great. So that's that. And I did, where is it? Oh, it's hiding under here. I did Brussels sprouts as our vegetable side with the lasagna. So we're doing that. And then the taco pan dish, the Fiesta bowl, that has a ton of vegetables in it too. So I don't really need to do a side with that because it's gonna have peppers, onions, all different kinds of peppers in it. So I'm not really too worried about that one. But other snacks that my kids always go for and are never off limits are fruit and vegetables. We buy a ton of fruit and vegetables. You can see, again, a lot of what we get is not pre-made. It's either homemade or raw vegetables and fruit. They love carrots, they love celery. I keep a bowl of apples, sometimes pears and oranges, depending on what it is I buy that week. And I try to switch it up sometimes. Usually bananas and apples are always in there. And then I try to add like another random one that we don't typically get. But that bowl sits on our island in our kitchen all the time, and they are welcome to it anytime they want, as much as they want. That is one of those snacks that I'm happy with them to eat whenever they want, because it's probably healthier than what I'm gonna feed and cook for them anyway. But that's what these are for. One of my kids' other favorite snacks, we always keep chocolate chips and peanut butter. One of their favorite simple snacks that's also filling and healthy for the most part is taking a banana, slathering some peanut butter on top and rolling it in chocolate chips, and then dicing it, and they get to eat like banana chocolate chip peanut butter bites. They love it. They absolutely love it, and it's super simple. So that's one of their go-to snacks. Again, celery is here. We did cilantro. I think the only one I missed as I was going was the bread, which is kind of self-explanatory. Our lunch for Sunday, again, I keep it simple. My goal in life is to keep it simple. All of these meals, some of them are more complicated than others, like the homemade lasagna, the Fiesta taco bowl, things like that. I usually do 1 to 2 in-depth meals a week that I cook from scratch and it takes a little bit more time intensive. And then I normally keep a few super simple meals on hand as well, especially for nights that we either have jiu-jitsu or gymnastics or church. Well, church they eat, but I still need to eat. So simple stuff that we are able to keep at the house and cook quickly. Those are the meals that I plan on those nights. And I do that very strategically because I know if I do an in-depth meal on a crazy night, I'm not gonna do it. So that is how I get away with that. One of the things that Aldi had that I was really excited about was cranberries. With it being the holiday season, there is a viral video going around of cranberry candies made from powdered sugar and then soaking these in orange juice and Sprite. I want to try it. I'm so excited about that. I found the cranberries. I don't really feel like I need a huge thing of orange juice and Sprite, so I'm just gonna, whenever I run to the store, Aldi didn't have one thing that I really needed for our Fiesta taco bowls, and that was Rotel tomatoes. So I'm gonna have to run to the store to get that. I was slightly disappointed because normally they have their brand version of that, and they didn't today. So I'm gonna have to go to the store. When I do, I will get a smaller orange juice and Sprite just to soak these in overnight. And then all you do is roll them in powdered sugar and stick them in the oven. Stick around because I will share that with y'all. I'm really curious if they're actually any good or if it's just viral because people think it's cool. So I will give you the honest truth of whether we like them or not. This is the only item I have sitting out here that was not on my list and was not in the cost price. This is the only thing that I didn't include in that cost. This cost, I think, $8 and some change, so we'll round up to $9. But I do a huge cookie Christmas decorating extravaganza every year where I invite my whole family, and I have a large family. And last year was the first year that we did this. I plan to do it again this year because it was successful last year and it was a lot of fun, was a gingerbread decorating competition where I love this box because it comes with 4 little ones. So we all split into 4 different teams. And I give them a time frame of how long they have to finish decorating, putting it together and decorating. I only give them 15 minutes to do all of that. And then we have to vote on who our favorite is out of the group. And you can't vote for your own. So it ended up being really fun. So I think we're gonna try that again this year. And I found that, and that was the best price I've seen so far. But this is not included in our grocery budget because it's a totally different budget. As well as I got one Christmas present that I bought with this one separate from the grocery budget, and I paid for those separately, but I didn't put it out because my kids like to watch my channel sometimes, so I don't want them to see their Christmas present. But none of that one and the other Christmas present was not included in the final budget because I bought them separately. But moving on to the rest of this, I am making on Sunday night, we're doing sandwiches for lunch. Sunday night is taco smash burgers. It ends up being more just smash burgers, but I like onions and peppers on mine. And we use Thousand Island dressing, as well as if you would rather have ranch or, regular burger stuff, and that's fine too. But Thousand Island dressing with roasted peppers and onions. And if you want lettuce and tomato, that's what I got this, as well as these tomatoes for that and for the Taco Fiesta Bowl. So I wanted a variety. I figured, why not? We got regular ones and then all green ones, and I'll just kind of use some from both for each one. This is for the lasagna, homemade lasagna. And then these are for a couple of different meals, the taco smash burgers, as well as lasagna. And I think there was one other thing I was gonna use these for, but I can't think of it off the top of my mind. And then I kind of explained this earlier, but every grocery trip, I like to try to do something where it's my version of fast food. If you hear my dog in the background, I'm sorry. She's chewing on a bone. And so you may hear some funky sounds in the background. That's her. But every year every grocery trip, I try to do a version of fast food that's my version of fast food, because inevitably life happens and the meal that you plan doesn't work out. And instead of going through a fast food, I would rather date my family and use that money that's in our budget to be able to go out once a month to date my family and do it purposefully versus out of convenience and having to spend $70 at Taco Bell just because we ran out of time to eat anything else. So I usually keep a convenience fast food meal in my freezer, and I usually grab one about every other week because, again, inevitably things happen, and I roll that meal over to the next week if I need to, the one that didn't work out. But this is that. It's just chicken nuggets. We throw it with French fries, homemade French fries, or chips, or macaroni and cheese. Easy meal. eggs for our quiche. I got 2 dozen because another healthy snack that my kids love are either deviled eggs, kind of healthy. They have a lot of mayonnaise in them, but healthier than pre-made stuff. So deviled eggs, boiled eggs. My kids love boiled eggs. I don't know what kids love boiled eggs, but mine do. And so they also love salad. So those are kind of easy, healthy snacks that they are allowed to eat whenever they want. Usually we have a snack time in the afternoon once they get home from school. But occasionally, you know, we eat a late lunch, so sometimes I let them eat like a boiled egg or something before that. But we usually buy at least 2 dozen almost every grocery trip, because another fast food version of a meal that I kind of fall back on when our meals don't plan out and say I forgot to get another fast food version is breakfast for dinner, because they love it. They eat it every time. One of the reasons why I want chickens and it's that because we use a lot of eggs. We go through a lot of eggs. But the quiche is going to use up at least 1 dozen, and it makes 1 skillet iron frying pan or cast iron pan. I usually put about 1 dozen in there, sometimes 10, depending on how much like spinach and cottage cheese I put in there. But usually it's about 10 to 12 eggs. Also depends on how big the eggs are. And then I've already gone through my Sam's Club haul. So again, all of this for $123. That's crazy. So this is a very typical week for us. Again, I try to go through my kids' stuff to find things that have gotten too small, things they don't play with, all of those things, and I will sell it and apply that to any clothing items that they need. Sometimes they have books and toys at Once Upon a Child that I then buy for their Christmas presents or birthday presents. As long as it's something they actually want and it's in good condition, then I will do that. But that helps us to bring down the cost on clothing items, as well as Sam's Club cash, buying gas. I didn't put that in the total cost because I don't have it shown here either, but gas was really inexpensive compared to what you would typically find at other gas stations. Those are all kind of frugal living tips that we use, that the little cents matter. I know it sounds crazy, just like 10 cents here, 10 cents there, what does it matter? But when your budget is $150 a week for groceries for a family of 6 and 4 kids, that's a lot of mouths to feed, and all those cents count and they matter. So that allows us to kind of stay within our budget, and making things from scratch is a huge budget-friendly way to save money. Now, obviously not all of us can do that, and I'm not opposed to store-bought stuff at all. This is just kind of one of those things that if I can, this is kind of my job right now as mom, is to save money, try to help my kids eat healthier, but and still eating stuff that's store-bought, but trying to do it more as like a treat and a last-minute thing, or say we're sick and I don't feel like doing it, then we'll do it that way. I just want to take this time to say thank you so much for joining me here today at Autumn Leigh at Home. I hope that this inspired you in ways that you can save money with your family, and I would love to see you guys back. So to do that, please like, subscribe, and share. I upload a video every Friday at 5 o'clock, and until then, I will put a playlist right here that's a Shop With Me playlist that you can see our other Sam's hauls and other days out shopping together. But thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas.